Bearkats taking a national championship in the FCS. Joining the show today to help us break it down, former quarterback, the winningest all-time quarterback in Sam Houston State history. We can't overstate it. That's Brian Bell joining the show. Coach, now the head coach of China Spring, but today you're a proud Bearkat alum.
Absolutely. Eat 'em up, Cats. Twitter was blowing up, and last night and this morning, full of orange and white up and down the Twitter feed. So it's a great day to be a Bearkat, baby.
Coach, I know you mentioned last week on the show or 2 weeks ago how you're still connected to a lot of the football alumni, how you still have group chats with those guys or talk to those guys. I mean, what were some of those messages going back and forth for people that a decade ago helped build this program into a further national powerhouse?
Yeah, no, Bearkat Nation definitely needed a win yesterday and just kind of finished it off right. You know, we've been close 2 times before in 11 and 12, and just for the alumni, former football players, but just our Bearkat Nation fan base in general, they deserve that win. And I was really proud of the guys for going out there and finding a way to get it done. You know, mid-rain delay, COVID year, spring football. I mean, so many things stacked against them. They never even had a locker room. They don't even have a locker room right now. So many things, curveballs coming at them, and they persevered and fought through. And sorry about that. That's our bell. But no, they sorry about that. No, but they did a good job fighting through and finding a way to get it done at the end, baby.
Wow. I love it. Coach, you got to see Sam Houston State on the national scale in the national title as a player twice. We've discussed that. And then from an alumni perspective, obviously it's so different. Take me through, obviously the nerves of game day still were there, I'm sure. What was different about this one, though?
I don't know. There kind of was a different vibe for yesterday's game. Kind of going into games before, years in past, there was just kind of something. There's just a quiet confidence that the Bearkats had this year that Coach Keeler and the staff brought. That those guys, we really had a confidence as alumni that they were going to get the job done. Maybe it was because they came from behind the past 2 or 3 weeks in a row to find a way to win it. And they felt like if they persevered that long, they could finish the national championship off the same way, and they did just that. So there was just something different about this year with their confidence level.
Coach, it's the adage that you reap what you sow. And I mean, we talked about it. It started over a decade ago that Sam Houston is now reaping what was sown even then under a different head coach, but just building that team, the Bearkats, into a national name on the FCS scale. And this is a product of that. Does it feel like this is a product of a seed that you and your team helped sow?
I don't know. Those guys, they did a great job creating their own legacy and doing their own thing and creating their own identity. I would like to say we laid a foundation back then, but we kind of were just playing ball and doing the best that we could, and we didn't get the job done. You know, these guys got the job done. They had to do it their own way, and really proud of Coach Keeler and their guys for just kind of finishing off. You know, that was kind of our motto. We always would have the word finish everywhere, and then the SH would kind of be our logo. And I'll kind of post it all over the locker room back when I was playing, and they definitely finished.
Coach, you talk about people never want to be, you don't want to follow Kim Mulkey. You don't want to follow the legend at your respective university or wherever you're coaching. You took that challenge on following your dad at China Spring, and Casey Keeler took the challenge on following Willie Fritz at Sam Houston, who in 4 short years built up to 2 national championships. I mean, Coach Keeler now extending that success. What does that say about him as a coach and his program?
Unbelievable job. You know, I think right when Coach Fritz left and Coach Keeler took over, he had a lot of transfers and he had kind of a method to his madness of how he was going to be successful and find a way to win. And he did a phenomenal job, and they just kind of kept feeling like they coming up just a little bit short. And I think he'd be the first one to tell you that right now, especially the team that he put together and their staff and the athletic department put together for this season was something special. And I think he found his recipe for success, no matter what that is. I think they just had a lot of good dudes. Sorry again.
I love it.
I'm sorry. They just have a lot of good dudes that are high character football players. Not only are they good on the field, but they're good off the field. And just good quality men that are winning football games. So I think they found something special they can hang their hat on.
Coach, I'm reading it here. You know, he had a lot of success at Delaware and won a Division I AA championship at Delaware in 2003. And then Coach Keeler actually was fired and got out of the game, was producing shows for NFL Films in 2013, out out of coaching entirely before he took a chance on Sam Houston State. And really, Sam Houston State took a chance on him after he had, been relieved of his duties for lack of performance at Delaware, his own alma mater. I mean, kind of a comeback story for him. What does that say about his character and just his drive as a coach in general?
I think, something that's funny, he's really kind-hearted. He's such a good dude. I've had the pleasure of being in the field house with him a couple times. And one of the times that I was there, he rescued a lost dog. And I'm pretty sure his wife wasn't too happy about that, but he's just a good quality dude. And so for Sam Houston to take a chance on him, I think they did a phenomenal job. He's got he's got high character, and he coaches those guys hard. And, I've got two former teammates that are coaches right now on staff. One's the tight ends coach, Matt Merkins, and the O-line coach, Chris Rogers. And just so proud of those two guys for finishing the right way, kind of yesterday and winning the Natty. But they say nothing but great things about Coach Keeler. And I don't know him super, super well, but I do know that he coaches really hard. He did a great job this year specifically, and people say a lot of great things about him.
Baylor winning a national championship in basketball, obviously it took over social media and Twitter. I mean, everything that was out there was all Baylor and centric around Baylor winning a title. To see Sam Houston State, that FCS smaller school program competing against big-time schools in Texas, to see your alma mater on that national scale, what was that like?
A lot of pride came with that. The Bearkat Nation and kind of Bearkat fans are coming out of the woodworks today specifically, but if you've been affiliated with Sam Houston State athletic program or anything like that, I'm sure everybody's coming up to you today saying congratulations. Their coaches saying they're fired up. And I think it does a lot for the football program, for recruiting, for kind of putting our logo and our brand on the map. But I think it does a lot just for the university in general. It's free advertising. I think they call it the Doug Flutie effect whenever he threw the Hail Mary. And so many extra students applied to Boston College that next year. And I think it just does so many good things for the university, not just the athletic program. And it's really nice to see the orange and white being on top this year.
So take me through game day yesterday. I mean, as it's starting to come on, you've got the full setup. I'm sure there was some wings or pizza, something involved. Take me through where you were, your full setup, and how you watched it.
Actually, it was kind of a curveball for me yesterday because in the middle of the rain, sorry about the bell again. There we go. So in the middle of the rain and everything, my fiance, we were moving her out of her apartment and into where we're going to end up living in the future. But so we were kind of mid-move, and I got a chance to watch it on the cell phone for a long time. And I actually missed some of the third quarter because I told her I was going to watch it till halftime before we moved. And then it got to halftime, so I stopped. And then I came back 30 minutes later, and they're halfway through the third quarter. I didn't know they weren't taking a halftime, so I didn't get to see the beginning of the third quarter. But it was a fun – I mean, Eric Schmidt, what a ball player the quarterback is. I think Ezard or whatever the receiver's name is, man, what a stud. Extremely high playmaking ability, and I can't wait to see those guys do it again in the fall because they ain't got much time to rest.
I'm glad you mentioned Eric Schmidt. I mean, I tweeted it yesterday. He's America's hero today. He woke up America's hero today. He also woke up very sore. I mean, that dude took an absolute beating yesterday. I asked you off the air, but do you compare your game to his a little bit?
Absolutely not. I did a really good job. I think my number one job that when I was playing quarterback was get the ball from the center's hands to number 20, Tim Flanders' hands as much or as efficiently as possible. Eric Schmidt, he spins it. He runs the whole show. They get empty. He throws quick game. He runs the ball when he has to, and he's a hard physical runner and deceptively fast. I think everybody got to see that yesterday on the play before halftime where he broke and he almost went the distance, thinking like 40, 50 yards. And, he's just a playmaker. And I still don't understand how he didn't win the Walter Payton Award. And so I think he'd rather have a national championship ring than a Walter Payton Award anyways. The kind of character that guy has. But he got snubbed a little bit.
He pulled a Tim Tebow. He said, look, I don't need the individual award. We'll win a natty anyway. And with that last drive of the game, 2 4th downs that he converted, I mean, basically himself, both of them being on the ground. I mean, his ability to run is unbelievable. And then he threads the needle on 3rd and 10 from the goal or at the goal line for the game-winning touchdown, 16 seconds to go. I mean, your heart's got to be racing on that last drive, even as a fan and alumni watching it.
Yeah, no, it was emotional. I got excited. I was fist pumping in the living room, and kind of those happy tears start kind of building up in your eyes, just because it was really special for Bearkat Nation, like I said. I think I saw a post-game interview from Coach Keeler. He said something like, it's very fitting for the whole season to come down to one final play, and for them to execute it and make that actual play, because we talked about it earlier. They've had so much adversity, odds stacked against them left and right, and they just keep coming through and keep providing. So I'm really proud of them. Like I said, it's always a great day to be a Bearkat, but it's especially great today thanks to those guys.
And the way they want it to. Coach, one of the last couple questions I got for you here. You talked about how tough it is to play that spring slate and then turn right back around and do it in the fall. I mean, a lot of schools, Central Arkansas and Stephen F. Austin being a couple to mention, didn't do it. They didn't want to play back-to-back. But Sam Houston's made the decision to play in the spring, come back and do it all over again in the fall. I mean, how tough is that? How long does it take, especially for a guy like Eric Schmidt, who is going to need a week or two? How long does it take to regenerate and get back to full strength after a full season? Yeah, no, I think that was probably one of the biggest question marks, especially for athletic director Bobby Williams. And, obviously he made the right choice. They're going to go down the record books forever. No one's going to ever be able to take that away from them. But, it is what it is. You got to play back-to-back seasons. You got to play back-to-back seasons. That's what it takes, and it always takes what it takes. So those guys are going to respond, and they're going to be fired up. They're going to hit the ground running. They deserve a break, so I'm sure they're going to get about 3 or 4 or 5 weeks off or whatever they got to do, and then it's time to go to work again and see if they can go back-to-back, because I know that's what they're worried about. They're enjoying it right now, but it's all about what's next. I know Baylor has that mentality too. You gotta figure out what's the next thing you're looking forward to, and it's time to go get it. Coach, you talked about the pride in the program, the pride in being a Bearkat. Always a great day to be a Bearkat. I want to know, does this translate at all into your team at China Spring? I mean, do you have those guys in front of the screen, or you're playing these replays, showing them some film from the game? You got to be giving them something.
I give them a hard time. We had workouts this morning at 6:40, and so I was chopping it up and kind of laughing. And some of the guys that they watched the game, but it's with those guys, it's all about the China Spring Cougars. I don't try to brainwash them with all my Bearkat knowledge and stuff like that. They don't need to be worried about it. Hopefully they were watching the game just because they love football. But when it's around them, it's all about the Cougars, baby.
You don't have too many diehard Sam Houston State fans on the roster?
We got a couple. There's a coach on our staff that went to Sam Houston State. We were there at the same time, Coach Kyle Elkins. And so, yeah, Bearkat pride is strong on our staff, but everybody was pulling for the Bearkats from Texas yesterday.
I love it. Well, Coach, before we get you out of here, I got one more question that our Bear games of the day. Just tie it all together in a bow for us. I mean, when you think about your run to the championships twice in the early 2010s, and then Sam Houston State now beating North Dakota State to try to get to its eventual national championship matchup, and just all of this put together, your emotions in the last 24 hours, what has this been like?
Like I said, I think it's extremely special, emotional, not for so many people that come to mind: Richardson Sear, Tim Flanders, Torrance Williams, Travis Watson, Cash David, Greg Sprouse, Brian Randolph, Seth Patterson, Kenneth Jenkins. I mean, so many guys, Robert Shaw, Darnell Taylor, Darius Taylor. Eddie DeCambry, Chris Rogers, Chris Crockett, J.D. Stanley, Shane Young. There's so many guys I can name right now that I heard from yesterday, and I saw a post, and they were all pulling for the Bearkats. And I like to think that we laid a good foundation. But what the Bearkats did this year is special, and we're going to celebrate it from years to come. Can't wait to watch those guys again next year, do it in the fall, and eat them up, Cats, baby. Great day to be a Bearkat.
Coach, our Bearkat question of the day, Bearkat games question of the day. That's terrible. I shouldn't. That was awful. But our Bear games question of the day, we're going to keep it where it is. This one comes from J.D. PicKell himself, and that's: if you're given the ox at an event, number one, what event would that be? What event are you most likely to be handed the ox? Number two, on the back end of that, what song is the first song you're playing?
You're talking about ox, like the ox cord?
Yeah, the ox cord, not like a physical, like horns grabbing an ox. Great. I'm glad we clarified here.
Animal. Okay, so you got the ox cord. What was the question again? What song am I playing?
What song are you playing, and what event are you most likely to be handed that ox cord?
No doubt is going to be in our weight room, whether that's during the period or after school workout. And I'm go-to straight running Drake. I'm a big Drake guy. I love Drake. Best rapper of the century. Drake, you just don't even know it yet. He's a stud, and you got the same name, so you can't go wrong with a little bit of Drake.
Wow. Give me a brick wall. Give me a brick wall. The weight room, we're gassing up to Drake. Coach, thanks so much for joining the show today. Congratulations, obviously, on all your success at China Spring and what you've built there, that program, off the heels of your dad and what he did at China Spring as well. And then now on being an alumni of a national championship program. Congrats.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.